Welcome to the Ask Coach Mac podcast, where coaches from around the world get their strength and conditioning questions answered.
What's up, guys? Ron McKeefery here, and welcome to episode number 51 of Ask Coach Mac. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a great question from Alfonso. Before we get to that, I want to thank today's sponsor, Iron Grip. Iron Grip is the largest provider of commercial free weight equipment worldwide and the only manufacturer with a line of exclusively American-made free weight equipment. Their equipment can be found in premier fitness facilities in over 60 countries, including 3 facilities I've put together. They are the industry leader and my go-to choice for bars, plates, and dumbbells. For more information, go to irongrip.com, follow them on Twitter, at irongrip, at iron_grip, or call Chris DeSanto at 509-230-3124. All right, here's today's question from Alfonso.
Coach Mac, my name is Alfonso Gambone, and I'm an attorney making a transition into strength and conditioning later in life after 15 years of practicing law. My question is for those looking to get into strength and conditioning later in life who are pursuing the proper education. I'm pursuing a master's degree in exercise physiology. What advice would you give for people close to age 40 now looking to do this, while most of the people, it seems like, are in their mid to early 20s? Is there a market for people trying to do this, and what advice would you give? Thank you.
Alfonso, thanks for the question. And I actually get this question quite a few times. And I've had several former interns that have come to do an internship as making a second career choice. And so I applaud you for chasing your dreams. I applaud you for chasing your passion. But I also want to caution you in that it is definitely a challenging profession. And, I would give you the same advice whether or not you were coming right out of college or whether or not you're, 40 years old and you're coming off of a second career, that you have to be both feet in. You just don't make it unless you have both feet in. And if you're kind of constantly teeter-totting between the two professions, or if you're motivated by money or security, with I'm sure you probably have a family and all those things, it's definitely tough. And the reality is that no matter when you jump in to the strength and conditioning profession, you basically start at the bottom. You have to work your way up, and so oftentimes I get the former athlete that went on and played pro ball, they played at a high level, and then they jump into strength and conditioning, and they expect to be right at the top, and it really doesn't matter when you jump in. You're going to start at the bottom. Now you will advance quicker because of your experiences or your immaturity or your age, but you're going to start at the bottom. And so as long as you know that going in, I think that's step one. Really, step two, and probably even before that, is deciding ultimately what your motivation is. If your motivation is to work with athletes, you don't really care what level or sport or anything like that, well, then there's plenty of ways that you can do that without abandoning a profession that you've spent most of your life pursuing. I mean, you can always coach high school ball or do something on the side from your law practice and get your coaching fix and be really dialed in. For me, for the longest period of time, it was simply I just had to be on the sideline. I had to be a part. The game day had to be a part of my life, and being around athletes every day, it didn't matter if I was making $1 million or $10,000. That's what I had to have in my life. It was more than just money or security or some of these other reasons why you would pursue a career choice. It was a necessity for me. Once you figured out that this is your motivation, this is absolutely what you have to do with your life, I think you have to be specific about your path. I'd call our interns that we'd get that you were coming from other professions non-traditional interns. They're following a non-traditional path, and so you've got some ground to make up. I mean, that hierarchy of going from internship to paid internship to graduate assistant to low paid assistant to high paid assistant to head strength coach, you're going to go through those steps, and so the sooner you can bypass those, the better, the more clear you are with your path and your picture of where you want to end up, the easier it's going to be for you to make decisions on different opportunities that come your way. And so I think you have to be very specific. I want to work with football at the NFL level. I want to work with college volleyball. I want to work with high school, all sports, whatever it may be. The clearer you are on your path will help you define the steps that you need to take to get there. And you just don't have the room to make mistakes or to go down different paths at this point in your career. You really have to be specific. So close your eyes and know exactly what the direction you want to go. You got to understand there'll be sacrifices. As I mentioned, you're going to have to start at the bottom. You're going to have to work your way there. And if you say you want to work in the NFL, like a lot of people do, well, it's not so much, people think that you can't accomplish these things. It's really what comes down to it is, what are you ultimately willing to sacrifice to be able to accomplish those things? Are you willing to sacrifice, having a job, making money, and being like all your friends, and having the cars and the houses and the things like that, or is it, simply that you want to, that you can sacrifice time or energy or all these things that you're going to have to give up to make your goals work. And so understanding that there's a tremendous amount of sacrifice that goes into this profession is paramount. For me, it was obviously sacrificing time away from home, away from my wife, away from my kids, that helped me advance. And ultimately that became too much of a sacrifice for me. And so I took a job outside of the profession to some degree, still connected in a very, very powerful way. But as far as being on the sideline every single week, I had to reevaluate things for a little bit. And then, the last thing I would tell you to do, Alfonso, is to look into ways you can take your previous career and make it benefit you. Obviously, having a law background, and really being, educated and being able to research and do things like that. Maybe you become the guy on staff that's the ultimate researcher. Maybe you become the guy on staff that understands NCAA legislation better than anybody. Maybe you can go into a situation and you can market yourself as a director of performance that oversees strength and conditioning and sports psychology and things along those lines. And you're getting your fix there. Again, going back to your ultimate motivation. Is it just being part of a team, or is it really touching your athletes each and every day? And so I think, you got to figure out what your ultimate motivation is. You got to be specific about your path. You have to understand that there's a sacrifice. And I would find ways to make your previous career benefit you, and think about those ways that you can really market that and sell that to a potential employer. So, Alfonso, I hope that answers your question. We'd love to hear what everyone else thinks. Use the hashtag AskCoachMac51 to continue the discussion over on Twitter. Alfonso, thanks for your question. I want to encourage everyone else, if you have a question that you would like to potentially be featured on the show, head over to AskCoachMac.com. There you can ask your question by hitting the record button at the bottom of the page. Thanks so much. I appreciate you guys for listening. And here's a quote to finish the day by George Bernard Shaw. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode of Ask Coach Mac. Bye for now.